I have been pity leaning over pain, and the tender smile that heals the wounded heart, and sympathy making life less hard to bear. Man has felt near my unseen face and hands. I have become the sufferer and his moan. I have lain down with the mangled and the slain. I have lived with the prisoner in his dungeon cell.
Now we have this series of I have.
Mm-hmm.
She said first, I am.
Mm-hmm.
Remember all the I ams?
Mm-hmm.
So I have been pitied. I have become suffered. I have lain down. I have lived. So she's speaking of all the things that she's had to do for humanity, for mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Mangled. What is mangled?
Mm.
It's a very powerful word. It means injured severely or disfigured or mutilated.
Mm-mm. Right. Mm-hmm.
So she has become all of these things. She has become the sufferer. She has become the moan of the sufferer. She has lain down even with the people who have been mangled and the slain, and she has lived with the prisoner in his dungeon cell. She's very, very clear. So let's continue on then. How to make me feel this?
Mm-hmm. Heavy on my shoulders weighs the yoke of time, nothing refusing of creation's load. I have borne all, and know I still must bear. Perhaps when the world sinks into a last sleep, I too may sleep in dumb eternal peace.
Well, now she's pretty depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And she says she has borne all and she has to bear everything still. And maybe when the world sinks, when the world dies, sinks into a last sleep,
Mm-hmm.
like they sleep in dumb eternal peace. But now she's going to go more on the I have.
Mm-hmm. I have borne the calm indifference of heaven, watched nature's cruelty to suffering things, while God passed silent by, nor turned to help. Yet
Well,
have I... Okay.
yeah, it's important because she says that that heaven is indifferent to her.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know the transcendent God as yet.
What does this mean? Watched nature's cruelty to suffering things.
Well, nature has her ways, and sometimes she can be very, very cruel. Because she is working out things that the divine has implanted through his consciousness into the earth. So we see that tsunamis, earthquakes,
COVIDs.
lava flows that kill thousands of people. I wouldn't call COVID nature's cruelty. I would say nature's cruelty is the way we see things of nature, which is not cruelty at all.
Right.
But it is cruel to suffering things. I mean, when you have in Peru 70,000 people killed in one earthquake, 70,000. It's not the same as Hiroshima with millions killed, because that was man, that was not nature. So she has watched this thing of nature, and And why did God pass by silent nor turn to help? Well, that would be a God who is more of a Christian God, one who helps or one who hurts people. And the divine is silent, but she doesn't see that he is helping the evolution because she's not there yet. And then she says, "Yet have I cried out." So let's continue. Cried not out.
Yet have I cried not out against his will, yet have I not accused his cosmic law. Only to change this great hard world of pain, a patient prayer has risen from my breast. A pallid resignation lights my brow. Within me a blind faith and mercy dwell. I carry the fire that never can be quenched, and the compassion that supports the suns.
You're reading much better now. You see, you got it back now. It's come back to. So she understands that there is a working of the divine, and she is part of it, and therefore she doesn't cry out against God's will. She doesn't accuse the cosmic law. She's not negative, because she says only to change this great hard world of pain, this patient prayer has risen from her breast, and a pallid resignation lights my brow. Pallid means lacking in vitality or interest, or lacking in color or luminousness.
Mm-hmm.
And then she even goes on and she says that in her there is a blind faith and mercy. Both of these things dwell within her. Why is that? Well, it's because she carries the fire that can never be quenched. To quench something is to extinguish something. If you quench a fire, you put it out. If you quench your thirst, you drink something. And the compassion that supports
the suns.
Good.
Yeah.
Now it becomes very, very poignant, very beautiful for a few moments.
Yes. This is such a beautiful line. I am the hope that looks towards my God who never came to me till now. His voice I hear that ever says, I come. I know that one day he shall come at last.
End quotes.
End quotes. Where is the beginning of the quotes? It's in the beginning of the canto.
So you see how she's speaking to Savitri.
Yeah.
Soft, sweet, training words. And she says that this pallid resignation, that's what lights her brow, because within her, there's still this blind faith, there's still this mercy about her. And then there is the fire that can never be put out, and the compassion that supports the suns. And she is this hope that looks towards my God.
Mm-hmm.
And she even hears his voice that ever says, I come. And she knows that one day he will come at last. But now we have a very, very dark phase coming, and that's what I warned you about.
There is a,
But after that, we will hear from Savitri.
Yes.
after
I
this.
wanted to share with you this quotation which Shishirda had told to Amita Di, and she wrote it down. So I am sending it to you. It's a very beautiful one.
Now, I only have 10 minutes to go. So
Okay.
we'll start with this because it's so powerful and it gets worse and worse
Ah.
at each point of the of this voice of
Wrath.
wrath.
Hmm.
She ceased.
She ceased, and like an echo from below, answering her pathos of divine complaint, a voice of wrath took up the dire refrain. A growl of thunder or roar of angry beast, the beast that crouching growls within man's depths, voice of a tortured titan, once a god.
I'd like you to
Ah,
consider uploading these things. Maybe we could start with today's recording
okay.
because you got the flow of it again.
Wow.
Now, Sri Aurobindo speaks to us so much about the Titan, and I don't think you've ever read the Titan with me.
I don't think so.
But take all our time, so let's do it, okay?
Okay.
You'll have to look up in the lexicon.
T-I.
It's very long because it's so important.
Titan. No, we haven't done it.
And you don't have to do it all today. We can continue on. So you don't have to do the dictionary definition.
Okay.
With Sri Aurobindo.
But the most of it is.
No, the Titan's instincts call for a visible, tangible mastery.
Okay, that's where we start. Okay. The Titan's instincts, call for a visible, tangible mastery and a sensational domination. How shall he feel sure of his empire unless he can feel something writhing helpless under his heel? If in agony, so much the better. What is exploitation to him unless it diminishes the exploited? To be able to coerce, exact, slay, overtly, irresistibly, it is this that fills him with the sense of glory and dominion. For he is the son of division and the strong flowering of the ego. To feel the comparative limitation of others is necessary to him that he may imagine himself immeasurable, for he has not the real, self-existent sense of infinity which no outward circumstance can abrogate. Contrast, division, negation of the wills, and lives of others.
Lives of
I'm
others.
sorry. Negation of the wills and lives of others are essential to his self-development and self-assertion. The Titan would unify by devouring, not by harmonizing. He must conquer and trample what is not himself, either out of existence or into subservience, so that his own image may stand out. Stampede?
Stamped.
Stamped, sorry. Stand out, stamped upon all things.
Letter, when you stamp
Right. stamped upon all things and dominating all his environment. Interesting. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga.
This is what is often said of Nietzsche.
Yeah.
This was the description of Nietzsche's Superman, which was taken up very much by Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
There was a unification of Hitler's people, but after that unification, he had them all go to war, and he eventually lost millions of Germans because they listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
The Titan's voice was speaking through Hitler.
Uh-huh.
Read one more. That was from Essays in Philosophy and Yoga.
Mm-hmm. The Titan who lives in his own inordinately magnified shadow mistakes ego for the self and spirit and tries to impose his fragmentary personality as the one dominant existence upon all his surroundings. Can I read the whole thing? Synthesis of Yoga.
Yeah. Can you read the whole thing? We have 5 minutes. Keep going.
But the Titan will have nothing of all this. It is too great and subtle for his comprehension. His instincts call for a visible, tangible mastery and a sensational domination. How shall he feel sure of his empire unless he can feel something writhing helpless under his heel? I think it's the same one.
The same one, yeah. We have to continue on.
The mental or vital demigod, the Asura, Rakshasa and Pisacha, Titan, vital giant and demon, are superhuman in the pitch and force and movement and in the make of their characteristic nature, but these are not divine, and those not supremely divine, for they live in a greater mind power or life power only, but they do not live in the supreme truth, and only the supreme truth is divine. Only those who live in a supreme truth consciousness and embody it are inwardly made or else remade in the divine image. Essays, divine and human.
Yeah, one has to live in that supreme truth consciousnness.
Yeah.
Or grow into it. Or else be made in it. But these demigods, these asuras, these rakshasas, these pisachas, these titans are giants or demons, actually. Mm-hmm. And the last line here from Essays Divine and Human is so powerful.
The old writings call the Titans the elder gods, so they still are. Nor is any god entirely divine, unless there is hidden in him also a Titan.
Wow. Again, Essays Divine and Human. See, these are things that people don't read very much.
Yeah.
Essays in Philosophy and Yoga, Essays Divine and Human. But they tell us so much, huh? Tell us so very much. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. So now, tomorrow, we are going to hear from this man, and it begins with a quotation. Huh? So we had a very good session and a very powerful ending to the Madonna's voice. But Savitri is going to make all this, she's going to correct all of this for that Madonna and for each Madonna. Mm-hmm. And she's so loving, and she understands this demon, this Titan, and she understands where he's come from and his bitterness. So, namaste,
Namaste.
and we'll continue tomorrow. This is still okay for you, 9:30?
Yeah, perfect.